Okay, so today I'm going to build up a mountain bike wheel using this Spank 359 wheel or rim and this Hope Pro 4 that I took off of my Evil the Reckoning. It's not really going on a bike as of right now. It's going to be a spare wheel set. This isn't a how-to video. This is just more of a video of, hey, if that imbecile can do it, so can I. So, yeah, if I can build a wheel, you can build a wheel, basically. One of the most important things you can do when you're building a wheel is make sure you get the right size spoke. Now, best way to do that is to use a bike spoke calculator. They have some online ones. Or you could use something like this, the Park Tool Big Blue Book of Bicycle Repair. You would go to the wheel building section, and they got a great little part right here where you can do all the calculations yourself. And if you get this book, you know, it'll tell you how to do those calculations. In the case of this Spank 359 wheel and this Pro 4 hub, there's actually an online spoke calculator that I use that I just had to type in what kind of wheel it was and what kind of hub I had, and it did the math for me, told me what size spoke I needed. I've been going with the QBP spoke calculator. I've used it for the last few wheel builds that I've done, and I really like it because, you know, you just go hit list of hubs, and I have a Hope Pro 4 hub. So I'm going to go Hope. It's going to give me the list of hubs, and I'm doing the rear hub. So this is the one I'm looking for. Hope Pro 4 rear hub. That's a Boost 6-bolt XD. It says purple. Mine's not purple, but it doesn't matter the color. It is a 32 hole, so that is the one we want. And you'll see it puts it right there. That's your hub. Then you go to list of rims, and my rim is a Spank 359. So we're going to choose Spank, and we're going to look for 359. Here we go. Spank 359, but that's a 28 hole. Spank 359, 32 hole, but that's 27.5. This is a 29 inch, so Spank 359, 29 inch, 32 hole. So that is the rim that I want. And so we got our hub, we got our rim. Now we go down to submit, and right down here gives you the list of spokes. So you got DT Swiss, Wheelsmith, other, and then you got your cross patterns. 1 cross, 2 cross, 3 cross. I am doing a 3 cross. That's the only cross pattern I ever really use, and I am using generic brand, so I'm going with the other. And as you'll see right here, you got 292.42 millimeters for the left and 291.26 for the right. I actually just bought 292 millimeter spokes, and I hope they work. So I'm going to get started now. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is put a piece of tape where my valve hole is, just to mark that, so I know where the valve hole is. Alright, so I poured a little bit of oil in this bowl, and we are going to want to, usually they recommend going about a quarter turn from the logo, so that's what I'll do. So, spoke is facing inward with the elbow in the inside, and then what we're going to do, I'm going to put this oil aside before I spill it all over the place. I am a dropper and a spiller, and I am going to get my nipples, and we are going to go, and we're going to go 1, 2 holes from the valve where the tape is, and we're going to put that through there and just thread it on about halfway. Let that get in there. And I'm going to take 7 more spokes. I'm going to dip them in the oil. Actually, it's just chain lubricant. And I'm going to put them in every other hole. So one there, skip one there, skip one, you get the idea. All right, so now that we got our first spoke in, and we've got the other spokes, the other 7, laced into the hub, we're going to count 4 holes from the right of your first spoke. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got 4 spoke holes. And we're going to just kind of halfway thread a nipple on. And then we're going to go to the next spoke over, do the same thing, just 4 holes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Super easy. I used to hate building wheels. Now it's not so bad. Unless you screw up and have to go and do everything over again. So make sure you do things right. Unlike me, I usually screw up. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, 4. You get the idea. All right. So I put a spoke in every 4th hole on the drive side. So, and everything obviously looks fine. But just to double check yourself, you should have 3 open holes between every spoke if you're doing the 3 cross. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So everything looks good. So now that the drive side's done, we can flip it over and work on the non-drive side. I'm going to place the valve hole at the top and work with my reference spoke. So at this point, I'm going to take 8 more spokes, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 8 more spokes, and I'm going to work on the other side. So let me just dip these in some lubricant. So from the reference spoke, which is the one on with the tape on this side, I'm going to drop just to the right of that. And it should fall right to the right side. That's the way we want it. And we're going to do that with every other hole, making sure we go just to the right of each of the spokes on the other side. Oops. I almost did it 2 in a row. Now each one of these spokes that I just dropped in are going to go 1 spoke hole to the right of the first set of spokes I dropped in. And I am going to put a nipple on each one of those. Not all the way on, just enough to keep the nipple on. Super easy to do, not very intimidating as I used to think it was. I used to hate building wheels. Now I don't mind as much. Yep, all you got to do is remember one spoke hole to the right. As long as you do that, you're golden. And just about done. Yeah, so we look good. Look good there. At this point, there should be 2 open spoke holes. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So everything's looking good. Now that everything looks good for that, I'm going to take 8 more spokes. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why do I always grab 7? 8. And I am going to drop them through all the open holes on the other side. So between every spoke on the drive side. All right. Then I am going to turn it over and be careful to lay these spokes flat without falling out, which I usually don't. They usually fall out when I flip it over. I'm so uncoordinated, it's not funny. Hooray, I did it. Okay, now that we got it flipped over and all the spokes laying flat, we're gonna do a turn of the hub clockwise. So the spokes radiate towards the left. All right, so you're gonna grab any spoke that you just put in that is loose, and you're gonna cross 3 of the spokes on the same side. So 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to go under the 3rd spoke. You're going to skip an empty spoke hole, and you're going to put this spoke into the next spoke hole. You might find it starts getting a little tighter at that point. You might have to pull some nipples through the holes on the other side to give you that extra room. But then you should be able to get it in. So at this point you might have to use like a toothpick or, you know, a straight pick. A lot of people use toothpicks. But it's going to start to get a little tight once you get closer to the end. So we're going to go ahead and get that nipple threaded. So as you can see, this spoke right here crossed 1 spoke, 2 spokes. It went under the 3rd spoke. We skipped a hole right here and put it in right there. We're going to do the same with this next one. Work our way to the right. So we're going to cross 1 spoke, 2 spokes. We're going to go under the 3rd spoke. Skip 1 hole and put the spoke in the next empty hole. Now the spokes will be getting a lot tighter at this point. So I'm going to push the nipple through. And that one's in there good. I'm not going to tighten anything too much, or else it will become too tight. So, same with this one. 1, 2, go under the 3rd one. Skip 1 hole and put the spoke in the next empty hole. I'm going to get my pick, get the nipple through there, tighten it a little bit, not too much. On and on. Cross 1, 2, go under 3. Skip 1 hole, go to the next one. Might have done that one a little too tight because I still got 1 more set of spokes to go. So we're going to go 1, 2, under 3. Skip a hole. Okay, so we've now finished lacing the drive side, and there should only be one spoke hole between all the lace spokes. So we got one there, one, one. Okay, yeah, we're good. So now before we flip the wheel over, I am going to throw these spokes through all the open holes on the non-drive side. All right, now we got them all laced through. See if I can go 2 for 2 at turning this over without dropping any. Oh, probably not. Hey, I did it. Yay. So now we're just going to go the opposite way. And we're going to, let's just move them over. We're going to take our first spoke and we're going to cross 3. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to go under that third one. And we don't need to skip any open holes because there are none. The only open holes we got are the ones we're going to thread in there. And you will notice that it gets a lot tighter at this point with spokes because we are nearing the end. So once again on this side, this was the spoke that I just threaded. I crossed 1, 2. This is the third spoke. And as you see, I went under that and laced it into the only open hole. So we're going to repeat that process. I'm going to cross over 1, cross over 2. This is the third spoke that I'm going to go under. And I'm going to go to the only open hole, which obviously that does not reach, so it is getting tighter. So that is why I use this pick, and I will put the nipple on the pick like this, and then I will push it through the hole to make it meet the spoke. And if you feel like your spokes are getting too tight at this point, it's normal because really they should be getting tighter because you are getting close to the end. So I'm going to go over 1, 2. Wait, am I counting right? 1, 2. That's the third one, which is right here. And we're going to go to the only open hole. And we're going to repeat that process 6 more times. All right. Last one, we go 1, 2, under that third one, over to the only open spoke left. Get it through there. And that is a completed lacing. As you can see right here, I got some nipples sticking out, and I don't know if it's just cold or what. Just kidding. Sorry, that was in poor taste. So I'm just going to use one of these. It's a Park Tool thingamabob. I believe that's what it's called. Nipple twister. Don't know. And I'm going to go around tightening all of the nipples. And basically what you're going to want to do is just make sure all the threads are covered. Oops. Nipple slip. All right. So now don't got any nipples poking out. Turned on the heater. So I am going to tighten them a little bit more because they are still pretty loose. So just got to get the right size spoke wrench. I think it's the red one here. We're going to start just to the left, and then I'm going to work all my way back there. I'm basically going to tighten them until I can see, as long as the spoke is not coming out of the other side of the nipple. Because if it comes out the other side of the nipple, you could break through your rim tape. Well, it's looking good. Okay. Probably going to be crooked. Let's see. Oh yeah. Definitely needs to be trued. Truing a wheel can be a long, tedious process. It's definitely not my favorite part of wheel building, and it can be pretty frustrating. However, once you've trued an out of true wheel, it can be pretty rewarding. Probably my least favorite part of wheel building is basically done. It's, well, let's see if we can see this here. Oops. So almost done. Got a little bit. I hear it, but I can't see what side. Oh, that is on. It's on the left side. So we are going to tighten the right side a little bit right there. Just a little bit. Because it's just barely hitting. Oh, that's perfect. All right. My least favorite part of wheel building is done. And finally, I am going to put a happy little purple valve stem in there. Normally I'd put the rim tape on before I put the valve stem in. However, I don't have a bike to put this on yet, so I'm skipping that. Give it a nice little hat. Beautiful. All right. So let's see how that hub sounds. Okay. Like nothing.